Hey everyone, welcome to my Friday Night SmackDown review. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I'm Denise Salcedo, and what an exciting night we have to talk about here today. Actually, SmackDown gave us a lot to talk about here today. We got to see some new faces that we haven't seen on SmackDown before, that we haven't seen on SmackDown just yet, and quite an awesome ending to the show as well. Overall, I gotta say, today was an entertaining edition of SmackDown, and I, for once, cannot wait to talk about it here with you guys today. Also, we are heading into Money in the Bank. We are getting closer and closer. We now officially have all of the entrants in for the men's Money in the Bank match, and we still need two more for the women's Money in the Bank match. But either way, we are making progress. Also, this was officially the last live Thunderdome show with the Thunderdome. It's the last one. We are still going to see it on Raw this Monday, but this was officially the last live show set with the Thunderdome. So times are definitely changing, everybody. How's everyone doing? All right. I see everybody here for the most part is saying that they are enjoying, or that they enjoyed today's show. Everybody's also talking about my hair. Thank you guys. You know, every now and then I wake up and I decide to do something just a little bit different to shake things up just a tiny bit. But let's go ahead and jump into the actual review of SmackDown. We're going to run through things chronologically, and I will be reading your thoughts, your comments as we progress throughout the stream. So if you are watching, whether you're watching on Twitch or whether you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys take part in the live discussion. If you are watching the replay of this, you are always more than welcome to leave some comments down in the comment section below. And the audio listeners, I never forget about you guys. You guys can hit me up afterwards on Twitter and or on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo. But let's do it. Let's talk about Friday Night SmackDown. All right. So here we go. I already see a lot of different things coming in here, but let's talk about, we're going to go in order, guys. So if I don't answer your questions just yet or read any of your comments just yet, and you want to make sure it gets read, send it in as I am talking about that subject so that it's easier for me to jump into all of that here today. But here we go. So we actually opened up the show with the head of the table, none other than Roman Reigns. And so obviously, one of the big stories in the wrestling week this week was obviously the arrest of Jimmy Uso and, driving with he got himself a DUI, driving drunk, all of that. You guys have heard everybody discuss this now, and it's been a topic that, a lot of people have been wondering, is there going to be any fallout from that? How is this going to impact the storylines that we're seeing on SmackDown, considering the fact that Jimmy Uso is actually one of the major focal points on SmackDown right now? Everything that he's doing with Jay and with Roman Reigns is one of the major, stories on SmackDown. So how on earth is that going to change things? And based on what we saw here tonight, it kind of seems like we're not really going to see much change, at least from the looks of it. It seems like all seems to be okay. Obviously, we do not know what's going on behind the scenes. Obviously, you and I, we're not there, but I can assume that they're going to just move forward, especially based off of kind of a couple of interesting lines that were said today on the show. But before I continue on, we do have a super chat. This is a super chat from Sam Pie Boone. A little off topic, but I will go ahead and answer it. And this one is from Sam, who says, Which of the women will win SmackDown Women's Championship first? Tegan Nox or Shotzi Blackheart or Toni Storm next year? Honestly, it is definitely way too soon to tell. Obviously, we are going to talk a little bit about talk a lot more about Shotzi Blackheart and Toni Storm and Tegan Nox and all of that later today. But I do certainly think that it is too soon to say which of these women will possibly become SmackDown Women's Champions, or if they even will become champions. We don't know. So I do think it is a little too soon, but thank you so much to Sam for sending in this super chat either way. I really, really thank you. All right, so back to Roman Reigns and everything that went down in the opening segment. So essentially, he starts to talk about how he's pissed off at Edge, and he's basically mad that Edge basically said that Roman Reigns was scared of him. And Roman Reigns says an interesting name drop, but he name drops Brock Lesnar. He starts talking about how you can ask any fighter if they've ever felt scared before, even if it was just for a couple of moments or a couple of seconds or whatever the case may be. And he name drops Brock Lesnar here. Now, I don't want to go off and speculate, but obviously Brock Lesnar is somebody that has been on our minds as of late. There's been a lot of, rumors and reports. Is he coming back to WWE? Is he going to be at SummerSlam? What is going to happen here? Everybody has been, speculating and whatnot. Now, I want to see Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I, for one, am definitely on board for that. And I think everybody else here too is. But the case is that the point is that he was actually name dropped here today. So I don't know if you could either take it as a grain of salt or you can take it as an Easter egg. I don't know. Take that however you will. But anyways, so I do want to mention, though, because obviously, we mentioned the fact that Jimmy was in the news, for drunk driving and DUIs and all of that. As of right now, we do not know of any punishment that has been made or anything like that. I thought my prediction coming into SmackDown today was probably that we were going to see him in some sort of way be written off the show. I know that may have been a little bit extreme, but that was my prediction kind of heading into the show, just because I feel like with something like this, I'm that person that I feel like there does have to be a little bit of, there has to be repercussions for your actions. And I firmly believe that, especially when it comes to something as serious as drunk driving. And so Obviously, again, we do not know if what repercussions have been going on behind the scenes, but just based on what we're seeing and the fact that he's still on TV, it was very surprising to me. And I don't necessarily know if I agree with that call. At least for my personal opinion, I was expecting some sort of repercussion to actually occur so that, hopefully down the line, we no longer see any of the Usos in this situation. So that is kind of what I do want to get at before I actually continue on with the rest of the conversation. But we also find out that Roman Reigns will be going head to head against Edge at Money in the Bank. They made it official here tonight. Obviously, we all knew that was a direction that they were heading into, but it has officially been set in stone here today. So, at the top of the show, Jimmy Uso tries to enter Roman Reigns' locker room. Paul Heyman stops him, and he basically says that Roman Reigns will deal with him later on. Again, Reigns is mentioning Brock Lesnar. Reigns mentions, not being afraid of Edge and all of this. We have these heavy piped in "You Suck" chants from the Thunderdome, and they were so loud today. I cannot wait for the piped in chants to officially be over. So then afterwards, we see Jey Uso's music hit. We see Jimmy Uso comes out first. Then we see Jey Uso's music hit. So Jey Uso is officially back. He says that he returned to all three of them. Jey Uso basically tells Roman Reigns that he is going to continue to be his right-hand man. Wow, guys, today's just a crazy day. He tells him that he's going to continue being his right-hand man. And then he tells Jimmy that he's going to be there for him in those dark times. And he has a line here, and I think I wrote it down, but Jey says to Jimmy, "Keep your head up and let's go back to work." So from the looks of it, it's like he made a mistake. We're going to move on and we're going to move forward from all of this. Roman then says that no one can touch them. They are a family and this is the way that they're going to do things. And they all hug. And this hug, guys, if you're going to read into anything you saw tonight, definitely go and read into that hug between Jey, Jimmy, and Roman Reigns, because all you can do is wonder what exactly that expression on Roman Reigns' face actually meant, because I do not trust Roman Reigns. Just on that facial expression alone, the way that he was hugging them, the way that he was looking into the camera, it kind of seemed like he was definitely manipulating the both of them. So I personally do not trust Roman Reigns right now. If I were the Usos, I would not trust Roman Reigns right now. So I am curious how the rest of the story is going to portray itself out. But all I know is do not trust Roman Reigns, all right? And obviously, we're going to talk a little bit more about what went down with them later on tonight. We're going to go through that in chronological order. But we do have a super chat. This one is from Khaled Adam. Thank you so much to Khaled Adam, who says, "Hi, Denise. Thoughts on Carmella replacing Bayley?" So we will talk about that the second we get to that segment, because I want to make sure I get it all in order here. But thank you, Khaled, for sending in this super chat. So I will be jumping into that in a second. But let's see what you guys thought about Roman Reigns. How do you guys feel about the relationship or the way that they are heading between the Usos and Roman Reigns? Let's see what we got here. Oh, okay, here, this is an interesting comment. This one is from Ian Kruk, who says, "I think Jey coming back is the beginning of Jimmy's punishment." Do you think so? I don't think so. I don't see it that way. If anything, I kind of see it as, you know what? Yeah, you made a mistake, you made an error, but it looks like we're moving forward. And again, this is all, what we're seeing on TV. I know it's not the best thing to assume we know what's going on behind the scenes, but at least based on what we saw on television, it looks like they are moving forward. And as of right now, they're not like getting him off of TV or anything like that, at least based on what we saw here today. And let's see what else we got here. And this is a comment from Joseph who says, "I wonder how long Jey was going to be out from being pissed about Jimmy and Roman fighting. That it's a great statement." That's true, because also, there was a lot of things that they had to change on the fly, after Jimmy's arrest. And then even with Bayley's injury tonight, obviously there was a lot of things that looks like they were some very quick decisions that were made and some changes were made. And you saw that impact the entire show. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that afterwards. We have a comment from Pomi Wrestling who says, the whole storyline with Roman and the Usos was solid on the show, but the continued inclusion of Jimmy Uso and WWE glossing over his arrest left a sour taste in my mouth. And see, that is exactly how I feel too. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, get the guy off television. I don't want to see him. I do want to see him. And I hope that, he gets better and that he gets the help he needs. But that's the thing. Stuff like that. I've never dealt with anything like that. And I've never been close to a situation like that. But, based on, just knowing things about life and other things that people go through, it's something that you just feel like there has to be something that says you cannot do this. And in order for you to not do something again, you got to learn from your lessons. And how do you learn from lessons unless you're like punished or, you have to sacrifice something, after you do something, you need to essentially you need to learn your lesson is what I'm trying to get at here, because drunk driving is definitely it's not a joke whatsoever. So I do get what you mean by this comment as well. And let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Aaron Fernandez who says, can't wait to see fan reactions to Roman Reigns next week live. It's going to be so exciting, because if AEW Dynamite taught us anything this week is that we don't know exactly what the fans are going to do, how they're going to react to things. Things feel very different. Again, some of us have to burst out of that social media bubble where we're all like, oh, well, everybody on Twitter feels this way. Well, or the majority of people on Twitter feel this way. So that's how all the fans must feel. I think sometimes we need to break out of that and realize that that's not necessarily the case. There are so many wrestling fans that aren't even on Twitter, that aren't even on social media, period. So you just don't know how people are going to react. So it is going to be very interesting. I know I feel like obviously people are going to know to boo Roman Reigns and all of that, because at the end of the day, he's still a heel. Obviously, we love him, and he's our favorite right now and all of that. But I do think that he is going to get either boos or a mixed reaction, etc., of people who are like, yeah, I know you're a heel, but I still want to cheer you. I still want to cheer you, dude. So I do think we're going to get a little bit of all of that here. We have a comment from Brandon who says, also, Jimmy has a history of this, I think. If it was just one time, that's a big deal. Multiple incidents with this is a bigger problem. It has been multiple incidents, and obviously that's nothing nobody has not talked about before. So that's, I think, why fans and even myself were expecting some sort of punishment. Alrighty, and let's go ahead and I'm going to read another comment from Linus West, and then we'll move forward. This is from Linus, who says, burying Jimmy just risks him getting into a downward spiral and repeating the same mistake. Worse for everyone, lifting him up is the right approach. I hope so too, and I hope that, obviously this isn't something that, and I'm sure this is something that is also going on behind the scenes. Obviously his brother Roman and everybody is, going to be supportive and uplifting. I feel like that just makes sense. And again, we don't know these people personally, but it just seems like that's the thing to do. And I'm assuming that's what's going on back there, where you have people that are, at least trying to, get him out of the dark place that he's in, because you just don't like get drunk and drive drunk for no reason. Like, I feel like there's always more to that. You just don't go and do something that reckless without there being some sort of something troubling you, essentially. So thank you so much to Linus West for sending in this comment. We actually have a super chat, and this one is from Kaleem Alahi. Thank you so much to Kaleem, who says, will TV views go up? The crowds didn't with AEW. I hope so. I really do hope so, because I know that there's a lot of people that are like, I can't watch, I can't watch, without the live audience. It takes away from the show. There are people that feel that way. Now, will it happen? I really, really hope so. Fingers crossed, because I don't want to see, I know we always have these, interesting conversations, especially Dave and Brian on Wrestling Observer Radio. They have these very interesting conversations about, the ratings and all of that. And I love knowing about all of that stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really do hope that, the ratings don't necessarily plummet. I like when the shows do good. I like when the ratings are good. I like all of that stuff. We got to root for it, man. We got to root for the good ratings here. Even if you're like anti-WWE or anti-AEW or whatever the case may be, good ratings, in my opinion, is a win across the board, even if you're not a fan of a program or whatever the case is. So thank you so much to Kaleem Elahi for sending in this super chat. All right, guys. And lastly, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. And again, we're going to talk some more about Roman Reigns and the Usos and Edge and all of that come to the end of this show, because we do have a closing segment with them, but I do want to touch on that later on. All right. So after this, guys, we get the match. Guys, get excited. We get the match you all really wanted to see again, because you guys all love this match. You know what match I'm talking about. It's Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Everybody here was dying to see that match again, because you know what? May 14th wasn't enough. May 21st wasn't enough. June 4th wasn't enough. June 11th wasn't enough. June 18th wasn't enough. Last week in their tag team match, it wasn't enough. And tonight, so 6 matches, guys. We've officially had 6 singles matches between Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin. Okay, to be fair, this one was actually a Money in the Bank qualifier. I don't know if that makes this fair or not. I don't think so, but I'm just trying to, make it not seem as bad. But who am I kidding, guys? Who am I kidding? All right. So Corbin defeated Nakamura twice, and Nakamura has officially defeated Baron Corbin 4 times since May, guys. Since May. Oh my God. We've had 4, 5, 6 matches with Corbin and Nakamura since May. It is barely the start of July. Anyways, Baron Corbin is broke. We already knew this. We still feel bad for him, obviously. He's going down a downward spiral. Big E comes out, and he's wearing a Bayley shirt. He goes on the couch. He asks Pat McAfee to join him on the couch. And throughout this entire match, Pat McAfee and Big E are essentially just making things worse for Baron Corbin, especially Pat McAfee, because they're practically like burying him in pointing out the fact that he's losing everything, that his life is falling apart, that he's no longer a king. Same thing with Michael Cole. I mean, poor guy. The match itself, it was every single match that you've already seen between Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin. So I'm not going to recap the entire match. I'm just going to tell you the main things that happened here. 1, we saw Corbin's car. We saw his car get repossessed last week. Well, now Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs took it upon themselves to buy his car from the auction. So they now own his car. Then the ending came when Nakamura went for the Kinshasa, but Corbin ended up countering that with a clothesline, and the finish came when Nakamura hit a series of knees and the Kinshasa for the win on Baron Corbin. So there you go. Nakamura now joins the Money in the Bank match. And so far, and we'll go through the names of the guys who are in the Money in the Bank match later on, but it is looking really, really good. Oh my God. Dr. Sophia Bonilla, DWO EVP, sends in a super chat. And Dr. Sophia Bonilla issues the challenge of a lifetime. The challenge of a lifetime. She says, Denise, please rank all 6 of their matches. Dr. Sophia Bonilla, that is like telling me to rank, I don't even know what. I don't even remember all of these matches. It's all one big giant blur. I don't remember any of it. None of it. So I'm just going to rank them in random order. I'm going to rank them. I don't even know which way to rank them. You know what? I'm going to rank their June 18th match as the very best. And I'm going to rank the May 21st match as the very worst. Even though I don't even remember what happened during those matches, guys. I do not remember because it is all just a blur and no one cares. But thank you so much to Dr. Sophia for making me laugh and sending this in here. Let's see what else we got here. We got so many comments about this. High Score Run says, Nakamura is going to take his car, take his house, and take his girl by the end of this feud. And Twitch Face 4 says she didn't say to rank them from best to worst. You could rank them from earliest to latest. Rank them however you guys want. I don't even care. I hope, and here's the thing, guys, that I'm curious. Like, I don't know. Okay, we're early July. Okay, we still got at least 3 more SmackDowns this month. I am curious. Are we going to see another match between Nakamura and Baron Corbin this month? Hell, even next month. Are we going to see another one? I really hope not. I don't want to see these guys wrestle at least until the end of the year. At least give me that. December, okay, cool. I'll take December. But anytime before that, I need a very, very long break, and I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. I very do not think that's going to happen whatsoever. And let's see what else we got here. Matthew Makovsky makes a joke and says, Nakamura and Baron Corbin, WrestleMania 38. And let's see what else we got. Oh, God, everybody is hilarious here. Patrick says, WWE reusing storylines. Who knew? And Colette Adams says, house foreclosure. How much is WWE paying him? He's clearly not getting paid enough if he can't pay his bills whatsoever. But let's go ahead and move on, guys. All right. So after this, we have probably what you guys really want to talk about here, because this is very exciting, everybody. We don't have to complain this week. We do not have to complain about the fact that we are saying the same women each and every single week here on Friday Night SmackDown, because guess what? We got new faces, everybody. We got new faces on the SmackDown Women's Division, at least for tonight, and they already teased another one coming soon. So this was very exciting, and I'm about to say that it was about time. I don't know what took them so long, but I am so glad that they finally just added some new faces. So we had Natty and Tamina versus the team of Shotzi and Nox. I was about to say Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox, because you'd think I would say that, but apparently now they're going by Shotzi and Nox. But here's the thing, though, is that commentary was still calling them Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox, but apparently now they're just Shotzi and Nox. I don't like that. I hope that that was just because they didn't feel like writing out the entire name on the nameplate. I really hope that was the reason, because I do not want them just to go by, like, Shotzi by itself is cool. Okay, fine. Like Shotzi, that's cool. That's a unique name. But Nox, just Nox by itself, I hope not. I really hope they still let her be Tegan Nox, because Nox by itself, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Anyway, so they come out. We needed them. We really, really needed them. And all I got to say is great timing for Tegan Nox to come back and, you know, she's gone through hell and back with her multiple knee injuries, with her ACL torn 3 times. I mean, she's been through it, okay? So I'm glad that she's back. Obviously, we saw her come back on NXT, and now, you know, she had this match on SmackDown. So good for her. Good timing. The match itself, though, it was really short. However, the thing that I do want to point out, and I don't blame her, because like you guys know, she's already injured her knee 3 times, Tegan Nox. But throughout this match, though, I kind of felt bad, because you could tell that she was still very hesitant. And I didn't notice this on NXT, because obviously she just came in and she attacked Candice. And so she didn't actually like get in the ring and all of that, but and have a match. But today with this match, it was very noticeable, though, that she was very hesitant to, you know, to put any weight on that injured knee. She was hesitant. She was very, very aware of her knee and the issue that she's going through, obviously. And I don't blame her whatsoever, because, you know, they always say, like, after you go through an injury, the hardest part is getting mentally used to the fact that you can use that body part again. And so I did feel bad because it was noticeable for her during this match. And so hopefully, when she starts, getting the ring rust out of the way, and, she keeps having matches and all of that, hopefully she can trust that knee a little bit more, because it was a little bit noticeable during this match. But anyways, we see Tamina clothesline Shotzi. She then gets her with an elbow drop. We see an assisted cannonball from Shotzi and Tegan to Natty. Then Natty gets knocked with a discus clothesline, and then we see Shotzi do a senton off the top rope for the win. So not only do they come in and they're like this team on SmackDown, I don't know if it's official or not, but they come in and they actually defeat the champions. Obviously, this was non-title, but still, now the fact that they have a win over Natty and Tamina, that clearly means something. And you can definitely say that this probably isn't going to be the last time that we see them there. So cool. What did you guys think about Shotzi and Tegan showing up here on SmackDown? Send in your thoughts. We actually have a super chat. This one is from Martin Carrillo. Thank you so much to Martin, who says, do you see Shotzi or Knox going to Raw after the draft? Honestly, see, here's the thing about both Raw and SmackDown and the women's division is on both of those brands is that both of them need help. Like, I can't even say that one brand needs them more than the other. You do have more stars. Actually, no, I'm wrong. SmackDown does need more women more than Raw. Like, Raw has women. They're just not necessarily being utilized right, and the stories aren't necessarily all that great. But, they have Charlotte and Rhea and all of that. And then SmackDown, obviously, you have Bianca, but now with Bayley being out, you really only have Carmella, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, and all of that, and all of them, right? So definitely SmackDown, but once they do the draft, we don't know what that picture is going to look like and who's going to move. But obviously, I hope that they do find a nice balance. But for now, it's definitely SmackDown that needs the more women, and Raw just really needs to just get better creative on the stories that they are telling for the women's division. And we actually have another super chat. This one is from Connecting People Through Wrestling. Thank you so much for sending in the super chat. They say, who would you want called up from the men's side? That is like such a loaded question, because I could think of like a million names, like off the bat, like, everybody's already assuming that Karrion Kross is going to head on over to Raw or SmackDown. People have been questioning when Adam Cole is going to be moved up. You could think about, people like Johnny Gargano, hell, Tommaso Ciampa. Like, there are so many people that you're like, you know what? Like, these people, they've already seen it all, done everything they can do over on NXT. So you can go that end, or hell, you could even put some guys that maybe haven't been on NXT for that long, but they can do something, on Raw or SmackDown. Somebody else that I've been saying has been always very well suited for the main roster is definitely LA Knight. I think Cameron Grimes would also be awesome on the main roster. I mean, so many people that could definitely go up to the main roster. Now, I don't even know, like, obviously there's pros and cons to that. Like, there's the pros that you're like, oh, this is exciting, they're going to get moved up, this and that. Because no matter what, even though they try to say that NXT is on par with Raw and SmackDown, we all know that's not necessarily the case. We all know Raw and SmackDown are just a tad bit above NXT. So no matter what, you're like, oh, it's cool that they're getting called up. But then the other side of it is like, oh, well, then they're just going to end up like Keith Lee or Aleister Black, or, they could win a title like Rhea Ripley, but look what they're doing with Rhea Ripley, right? So there's pros and cons to all of this. But anyways, thank you so much to Connecting People Through Wrestling for sending in this super chat. And we have another one from Christopher Marino. Thank you so much to Christopher, who says, so much for the Candice and Tegan feud in NXT. I know. And I do kind of feel bad for Ember Moon as well, because, she and Shotzi were fun. I know a couple of people weren't digging them as a team anymore, but I still was. I really was still digging them as a team. So I do kind of feel, a little bad for her, but we'll see what happens, obviously. Thank you so much to Christopher Marino for sending in this super chat. And I'm going to try to get a couple more comments here. And let's see what you guys are saying. This one is from Tam Zed, who says, SmackDown women's division is still in life support currently. Sasha Banks needs to return ASAP. Yeah, and here's the thing, though, is that it shouldn't be that way. Like, Bianca just won this title. Like, you don't want to see her get back into another program with Sasha Banks. Like, they just wrapped that up. Obviously, it's good that we have this little break, where Sasha is doing whatever she's doing. But the point is, though, that it shouldn't be like that. Like, we shouldn't just be waiting for her to come back. There should be other women that we can say are credible enough to actually challenge Bianca. The problem is there isn't anybody. And you can say, like, yeah, obviously we want to see people like Liv Morgan in that spot. It'd be nice to see Carmella in the spot. But unfortunately, because of the way that their stories have been told, the way that they've been booked, they're not seen at that level. So we need people that are seen at that level. And at that point, and as of before Bayley got injured, she was really the only one. And now she's gone. And then I feel terrible too for Bayley because, obviously, she did so much during the, the pandemic era. She worked, she hustled, all of that. And, essentially to get injured right before you're going back to the live crowds. I mean, it really does suck, especially because she really was the person really not responsible, but she was the only person helping Bianca Belair elevate her reign as champion. So, her getting injured sucks for her too. And it also sucks for Bianca Belair because she's essentially left with whatever they come up with. And we're going to talk about who they came up with in just a bit. But we have another comment here. This one is from Martin Carrillo, who says, who do you see filling the last two spots for the women in Money in the Bank? Well, given the fact that they're going to announce that Toni Storm is coming soon to SmackDown, I don't know when. I think that she would definitely be a great option to add into that. And I'm trying to think of who the other person I might want to see in there. I don't think I have anyone just yet that I'm thinking about right now. If somebody else has somebody's, throw their names in. But at least right now, definitely my pick would be Toni Storm to somehow be added into that as well. And this is a comment from Tyler who says, so happy they are giving Tegan another shot after her injuries. I don't like how it looks like they changed her name, though. Vince needs to stop doing the name changes. Yeah, I do too. I don't like, I don't want to see her go as Nox. It's just kind of lame, BTW, from this moment on, ladies and gentlemen, I am no longer Denise Salcedo. I'm just Denise. All capital letters with an exclamation point. I'm going to be like Walter, but just Denise. I feel like that's something that would definitely, if Vince was booking this podcast, he'd be like, you're no longer Denise Salcedo, you're Denise. Anyways, let's see what else we got here. All right. This is one from Grande Hero who says, since there are two spots open on the SmackDown Women's Money in the Bank match, how about next week it's Toni time? Then at Money in the Bank, it looks like Liv is about to win when Sonia brings out the latest entrance, Sasha Banks. Obviously, we don't know. We do not know. But thanks so much to Grande Hero for sending in this comment. Christopher Marino jokes that my name should be just Sato. Oh, God, that would be terrible. And then Sam3 says, do your last name, but with the accent on the wrong letter. Can you imagine? They'd probably just have me going as Salcedo. Oh, that would be terrible. That'd be terrible. Bonkers IFC says, I think a mystery person at Money in the Bank would be Becky Lynch. That would be hella cool. Hella cool. And another comment, this one is from Planet Dan ASMR, who says Bayley should come back as a baby face. I think it's time for her to be a face again. What do you think? You're just Salcedo now. So Salcedo thinks that obviously we later on saw Bayley cut a promo, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but she's still a heel, obviously. She's still a heel. When she comes back, I do think she should come back as a baby face. I'm totally cool with that. Totally cool with that. And we actually have another super chat. Thank you so much to DKC Returns, who says, I missed SmackDown tonight, but the review is just as good. Well, I'll tell you this much, DKC Returns. You will not have to see Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the 100th time on this podcast, at least. You'll have to hear about it, but I try not to put too much time on that. But thank you so much to DKC Returns for not only sending in a super chat, but also putting over my podcast. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much to DKC Returns. All right, everybody, let's move on. After this, where are we at? All right, after this. All right, let's jump into it. The Sonia announcement, guys, and I'm going to have a little bit of a couple of complaints to do here. So we were just talking about the Bayley promo. And basically, this is a clip, I guess it was posted earlier on YouTube. I did not see when it was posted on YouTube, so I didn't see it until they actually aired it on SmackDown. But she basically says that she knows that people don't care that she's hurt, that they don't care that she did this for us, the fans, and that it is the fans' fault. And that, yeah, they're going to find a replacement, but the replacement is not going to be good as hers. Now, I'm assuming that Bayley will probably be gone until, God, this sucks, but really until maybe March, April of next year, guys. But you know what's around that time? WrestleMania. So obviously it's too soon to say, but I hope that she will be back by WrestleMania. I really, really do hope so. But anyways, let's talk about Sonia Deville's announcement. God, I really hate that they're making Sonia unlikable here on SmackDown. And I've talked about this last week, but they're making Sonia they're not giving her, she's not looking smart in any of this. But anyways, so she comes out and she says that she's about to, announce who the replacement for Bayley is going to be. So we're all here under the assumption that Bianca Belair is still going to defend her title at Money in the Bank, but she's just going to defend it against somebody else. But instead, Sonia says that Bianca is not going to defend her title at Money in the Bank, but that instead she's going to have a one-on-one match. She's going to put her title on the line next week on SmackDown with the live audience in Texas, and it is going to be against none other than Carmella. Carmella, who just lost 2 matches in a row against Liv Morgan. She is going to get a title shot. I don't have a reason. If you're looking for a reason as to why, I don't have a reason for you, but she is the chosen name. I get it. They were scrambling. What other options are there? I get it. It was going to be Carmella. But I think in my mind, I was like, well, maybe they'll come up with somebody, I don't know. I was just thinking, I got my hopes up for something else is all I'm going to say. I got my hopes up. I was expecting something different. It ended up being Carmella, and the match is going to happen next week. Okay. Fine. At least we have a match announcement for next week, so that's good. But then afterwards, Liv Morgan comes out and she's pissed off, and good for her. She's pissed off. She comes out, she's, talking about how Sonia's just making these dumb decisions and how, she's pissed that essentially that this isn't fair, that how is it that Carmella is getting a chance at the title when, she's been the one working hard, proving herself, and she's beating her and da-da-da-da-da. And she starts getting her, her attitude level goes up. She gets right in Sonia's face, and Sonia's just like, calm down. If you would have just not said anything, I was going to tell you that you're actually going to replace Carmella in the Money in the Bank. And then Liv Morgan is all like, oh, she has this face where she's really, really happy, and yay, she officially got into the Money in the Bank because she's replacing Carmella. And I hated this. I hated this for Liv Morgan. I hated it because they made her look like such a plan B. They didn't need to do it in a way where, oh, wow, because, Carmella's out now of the Money in the Bank. You can now replace Carmella. And then she's all happy about it. Like, I get it. She's happy that she's going to be in the match, but nobody wants to be a plan B. Who wants to be a plan B? I'm sorry, but this was dumb, especially because, again, Liv Morgan defeated Carmella twice back to back. And then on top of that, she just defeated Zelina Vega, who we didn't even see this week on her debut last week. So essentially you can say she's on a 3-match winning streak, and, she's out there. She's putting herself out there. She's trying to make a name for herself, et cetera, et cetera. And then they give her a replacement spot, and then afterwards she acts all happy about it, like she's thankful that she's even getting this opportunity. I thought that was really, really dumb. I did not like the way they went about this whatsoever. I thought they could have done, I don't know, anything else but making her seem like a plan B. So I was definitely not a fan of anything that went down during this segment. So let's see what you guys are saying here. This is a comment from Jason PS3 who says, judging for past couple of weeks, would have made sense that Liv should have a title shot against Bianca and not Carmella. Well, yeah, obviously Carmella, like I said, lost twice to Liv Morgan, and she's the one getting the title shot. Oh my goodness. All right. And let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Linus who says, while execution the last couple of weeks have been dire, at least chuffed for Liv getting a babyface push and hopefully feuding in ring with Sonia, pushing both of them up the card would be ace. Yes. See, and that's the thing too, is that they can do that. They can find ways to push multiple people up the card. Like, you don't just have to only get one person over at a time. You can definitely get multiple people over, not just, one at a time and whatnot. And this is a comment from Tyler who says, I really hate that Liv wasn't the replacement, or that she was the replacement. It literally makes no sense. I already like the Deville, Sonia Deville, but now I simply can't stand her. If I were Liv, I would have slapped Sonia straight up. Yeah, she should have just been like, you know what? Like, I'm not a plan B. Like, they could have even given her another match and been like, hey, if you win this one, you know what? You're in the Money in the Bank match for sure. I don't know. They could have just done it a different way so that she didn't have to go in this as essentially a plan B, as a replacement. Okay. And this is a comment from Colette who says, Sonia snapping on Liv was interesting. I thought it was the other way around. I thought Liv snapping on Sonia was more interesting than Sonia snapping at Liv. I thought it was more interesting for Liv because she got in her face and she really showed a different side of her that we really haven't seen. Like, we haven't really seen this very, sassy Liv Morgan. So that's been really, really great. And this is a comment from Patrick who says, I was very disappointed with Carmella being chosen as Bianca's challenger. I think WWE missed an opportunity to make a splash with a fresh contender. Could have been an NXT call-up or Liv Morgan. I would have liked that too. Hell, if it would have even been Toni Storm, I'll take anything. It's just, unfortunately, they haven't made Carmella feel like she should be in that spot right now. That's the only problem. But anyways, alrighty. This is a comment from Aaron who says, I don't think Liv should have had the shot as refreshing as it would be. Liv is better placed winning Money in the Bank and building momentum. Yes, obviously too, I definitely do not mind Liv just bypassing getting the title shot next week and waiting until she were to actually win the Money in the Bank and go from there. I would obviously like that better because she would have more momentum instead of it just kind of feeling like a throwaway, because we all know that Bianca Belair ain't losing the bout, and she is not losing the bout on SmackDown. I would be shocked if they did. Very, very shocked. And okay, we're going to go ahead and move on now, guys. So we had, after this, the announcement. They just did like the women's segments back to back. It was like, bam, bam, bam. Let's get them all out there. Right after this, they made an announcement that Toni Storm was officially coming to SmackDown. They didn't say when. They just put coming soon. And we all know how long coming soon can last. I mean, it could literally be 1 week, or it could be like forever. Because I remember when Rhea Ripley was getting called up, she kept getting her like little promos and it kept saying coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. I don't know how much time period went by, but it felt like forever. It felt like a really, really long time until we officially saw Rhea Ripley. So the coming soon could be 1 week, could be a month. I don't know when we're going to see Toni Storm, but hopefully I actually would like it to be, especially next week, considering the fact that they're going to be in front of the live audience and they should just make the show extra cool. She'd get a pop. So I do kind of hope that coming soon means next week, but then they would have promoted it as next week though. We'll see. I don't know. I really do not know. But I'm excited, though. Toni Storm going to SmackDown. I think that is definitely the best place for her. She has a lot of potential. She has a lot of star potential. She's great in the ring. She's needed. And if she were to go toe-to-toe with a Bianca Belair, it would be believable. You wouldn't have to work at actually trying to buy the fact that she has credibility, because she does. She does have that credibility. And so I'm very, very happy that they actually decided to, call her up on SmackDown. So I'm definitely a fan of all of this. Alrighty. We're going to move on to this next match here. Actually, before we do, we have a super chat. This one is from Martin Carrillo. Thank you so much to Martin, who says, I guess it's Toni's time on SmackDown. This is a big deal. It is. It feels like a big deal. I feel like we need to get really excited about it. At least I'm excited about it. I don't know. Like, I hope everybody here is on the same page as me, because when they announced it, when I saw, because they were showing like a bunch of images of her and all videos of her and all of that. And I started thinking either they're going to promote NXT right now, which they usually do till Raw, or they're going to actually, say that she's coming or debuting to SmackDown. So I was watching and I was waiting. I was like, where are they going to go with this? Is this an NXT thing, or are they really going to go for it here on SmackDown? So when it said coming soon, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, they're actually going for it. I love it. So thank you so much to Martin Carrillo for sending in this super chat. We have a comment from Alonzo who says SmackDown is a better show. Toni will be a good fit. This is a comment from Twitch Face. It says, excited for the debut of Storm. I was thinking about that. I was wondering. I was like, oh man, based on what they did with Nox today and Shotzi, I hope that they don't just decide to call Toni Storm Storm. Like, I would feel bad. Like, Storm is, it's a cool name, but just by itself, no, I would definitely want the Toni with it. All right. And let's go ahead and move on, guys. Actually, one more super chat. This one's from Christopher Marino. Thank you so much to Christopher, who says, it's hard to get excited based on recent call-ups. See, that's what I'm sorry. Like, I still get excited. I have hope. What can I say? I'm an optimistic person. It could be a flaw. It could be a fault. I don't know. For me, at least, I'm still optimistic. I hope that it's a good thing. I really, really do. I really, really do. And even so, like, also just the fact that we need more women, period. I feel like no matter what they even decide to do with Toni Storm, it could only be a step up from what we're seeing right now with the women's division on SmackDown. And let's be real, we desperately needed more people. We desperately needed somebody like Toni Storm. So thank you so much to Christopher Marino for sending in this super chat. Frank B says, I hope they call her Storm and treat her like an X-Men, and parentheses, no, not serious. Thank you so much for putting that. I might not have read through the sarcasm. So thank you for sending that in. And then Kevin Ash is cool says, Storm, the sidekick of Nikki Ash. Yeah, and Storm sounds way obviously more like a superhero name than Nikki Ash. I can't say Nikki Ash. To me, it doesn't roll off the tongue properly. Like Nikki Ash. Nikki Ash. Nikki Ash. No, I don't like it. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on, guys, or I'll just keep going forever and ever. Alrighty, before we move on to the next one, I just want to remind you guys all that I am live, not one, not twice, but 3 times a week now on Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I'm live talking about, oh my God, guys, I'm live on Tuesdays talking about NXT. I'm live on Wednesdays talking about AEW Dynamite, and then I'm live on Fridays talking about SmackDown. A whole lot of wrestling to cover. There's news breaking all the time. And, obviously that bleeds into the shows that we're discussing. And so much is going on in the world of wrestling, especially right now with so many events coming up. I mean, this is a really exciting time to be a wrestling fan. And I'm very happy that I get to come on here all the time and talk to you guys about it. And then also All Out tickets went on sale today. That's exciting. I saw lots of people on Twitter were like, yeah, we got tickets. I was like, awesome. I'm happy. I'm going to be there, and I hope to meet some of you guys there. If you're going to be at AEW All Out in Chicago and you see me, feel free to say hello. I will say hello back. Whatever. It'll be great. All right, we have a super chat. This one is from Colette Adam, who says, love your hair tonight. Is Daniel Bryan still signed with WWE? So actually, you might want to listen to Wrestling Observer Radio because so they talk about this on Wrestling Observer Live. Mike and Brian, they talk about it today because I was listening to the show and they talked about it. So you might definitely want to check that out because they go into that a little bit more in depth. And then also, thank you so much for sending in the nice comments about the hair. I appreciate it. Trying new things. So thank you so much to Khaled for sending in this super chat. Sam3 says that I'm on more than Brian now. That's it. I'm challenging Brian, guys. Who can do the most podcast a week? All right. Let's move on, guys. All right. So here we go. I have a feeling that some of you guys may not be as thrilled of the outcome for this next match, and some of you guys may be totally cool with it. I don't know. So we had Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, Money in the Bank qualifying match. Obviously, we haven't seen this match before either. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it a bunch of times. This is the first time. Anyways, we have seen this match, BTW, but okay. Money in the Bank qualifier. This was not a bad match, okay? This was not a bad match. However, I'm going to go through a couple of moments we saw here, and then we're going to talk about what actually happened. So during the match, right off the top, we saw Cesaro catching Rollins midair after he hits a bad backbreaker. Cesaro then follows up by doing a flying crossbody and gets a 2 count. Then Cesaro gets Seth with several uppercuts. Literally uppercut after uppercut, and we know that he does those very well. We later on see Seth expose the turnbuckle and slingshot Cesaro right into the exposed turnbuckle, and Cesaro literally gets busted open, and the guy just continues to bleed more and more as the match progresses. Afterwards, for the finish, we see Seth hit the stomp and ends up winning and qualifying for the Money in the Bank. Now, I do not know what your predictions were for this match. To be honest, I figured that it could go either way, but I kind of glanced at the chat before the show started, and I saw a lot of people very upset at the fact that Cesaro lost this match. And you know what? If you're upset that Cesaro lost, I do not blame you, because Seth Rollins has obviously reached mountaintops that Cesaro has not. And also, they spent kind of a little while actually building some momentum for Cesaro. He had that hot match with Roman Reigns. He had that hot WrestleMania moment with Seth Rollins. He had all of that. But now, because they went back to the Seth Rollins thing, I feel like they took a lot of that momentum that Cesaro had away from him. And after this loss, I feel like Cesaro did not gain anything from this. I feel like he's back to where he was, exactly on the same spot on the roster as he was several months ago. I feel like through all of that, it ended up being just for him to go back where he was. They should have just ended it after he had his win from Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. That was such an amazing moment. That should have been in. They should have had to move on to something else. He should have been the person heading into Money in the Bank. At least that's how I feel. I don't know how you guys feel. Send in your thoughts on this. But seriously, I'm happy though. Here's the thing. Okay, so I wanted Cesaro to be in the Money in the Bank, but Seth Rollins, we know he's going to be awesome in the Money in the Bank. And based on the names that are in this match, let's go through them, guys. So in the men's Money in the Bank match, we now have John Morrison, who could do crazy things, Ricochet, who could even probably do crazier things, Matt Riddle, who's been on a roll and just has fantastic matches, Drew freaking McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Seth Rollins. So look at that lineup. That is an awesome lineup for the men's Money in the Bank match. An awesome lineup. A lot of guys that can do a lot of cool things. And I think that match is going to be pretty awesome. But again, it would not have hurt to see Cesaro end up in that spot. But what did you guys think of this? Let's see what you guys all have to say here. We have a super chat from Bear Hudson. Thank you so much to Bear Hudson, who says, any update if Cena will wrestle Roman at SummerSlam? Keep hearing he is shooting another movie and may be unable to wrestle. Denise, keep inspiring others. You continue to set the bar for others. Thank you so much, Bear Hudson. I appreciate all the love that I can get on these streams. So thank you so much to Bear for the nice comments. And yeah, so when John Cena came out with the Fast 9 movie, the Fast and the Furious movie, so he did an interview with Jimmy Fallon, and on there he said that he was planning on coming back to WWE. He just said he didn't know exactly when, but that he obviously was planning a return. And then afterwards, people started saying like, oh, he's shooting a movie that might essentially clash with the SummerSlam dates. So as of right now, I do not know. As of right now, I'm hearing the exact same things of, hey, he said he's going to come back. He doesn't know when. And B, obviously he has all of these projects that are, lining up. And after this big, blockbuster movie, I can only imagine that, he's going to continue to get more and more opportunities. And who knows what else he has down the road or already planned and whatnot. Once Hollywood takes you, Hollywood takes you. So thank you so much to Bear Hudson for sending in this super chat. I really, really thank you for it. We have another one from Wrestling Gamer. Thank you so much, Wrestling Gamer, who says, Cesaro's push unfortunately ended a long time ago. See, yes and no. Yes and no, because that match with Roman Reigns that he had was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal match, okay? And I don't think anybody here, again, was expecting Cesaro to win. Obviously, that match maybe gave you some hope during some moments where you actually thought, okay, maybe he actually might have a shot here. But we all, for the most part, knew that Roman Reigns was going to, rise above and all of that and win. And, he's the head of the table. He's on another level, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. He has this great moment with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. That was fantastic. So if you want to say that it ended after that, then yes. After that, it ended. The second he went back to feuding with Seth Rollins, in my opinion, that's where it ended. That's it. It kind of just felt like, and I get it, everybody kind of went back and started feuding with the exact same person, but it hurt Cesaro more because I think he needed it more. I think he needed more of this, recognition. I think he needed to be seen on a different level because he's always sort of been seen on the exact same spot, on that roster. And he would always get these moments where he's going up, but then it's always back down. So I think we thought that this was officially going to be like, the big moment for Cesaro to really solidify himself as one of the top guys on SmackDown. But after going back to Seth Rollins and then losing to Seth Rollins, it's just like, where do you go from that? You're just back to being Cesaro on the exact same spot on the roster. So that's kind of how I get that too. But so thank you so much to Wrestling Gamer for sending in this super chat here. And I see a bunch of people basically talking about poor Cesaro. And Mike New York says Edge ruined Cesaro's push. D-Train says Cesaro to NXT. He says he would like to see Cesaro versus Walter versus Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong, etc. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, he would pretty much have good matches with just about anybody. And all right, we have some couple more comments here. And this one's from Martin, who says that he was hoping Cesaro would win, but there are so many other baby faces in the ladder match, so that's good. Brandon says that he thinks Cesaro should have also won tonight, and Seth could have appeared at the pay-per-view to attack Edge to set up their match at SummerSlam. Yeah, especially because we did get that tease between Edge and Seth Rollins here tonight, where they kind of had a little confrontation backstage. This is actually Matthew Makovsky bringing it up now. He says that Seth and Edge confrontation low-key made me scream at the top of my lungs. I'm assuming in a good way. I'm assuming the scream at the top of your lungs was in a good way. I hope it was. Planet Dan ASMR says Cesaro's push is sadly over. Seth did not need to be in Money in the Bank. It would have made more sense for Seth to be angry that Edge was in the title match and he couldn't get in Money in the Bank, and that's why he costed Edge. It would have made more sense. Exactly. And Seth Rollins was pissed about that even last week. He had that whole, backstage segment with Sonia and Adam Pearce that we were talking about. The fact that he was basically calling them, on the fact that they're all giving Edge his, his singles match with Roman Reigns because, he won the Royal Rumble and this and that, when he was the one calling them out for putting Daniel Bryan in the match. So, we discussed that last week. But anyways, all right. And we're going to go ahead and move on. I think we pretty much covered that aspect there of the show. So, guys, next week, before we get into the final segment of the show, next week, SmackDown will be in front of a live crowd. So yay, exciting. We can't wait. We're going to be talking about, fan reactions, and it's going to be a whole new thing. Well, a whole new thing, at least I think they announced on that promo video for coming back on the road. I think they said it's been 495 days since they've had a live crowd on SmackDown. 495 days. Oh my God. I just can't believe how fast the time went. It went fast and slow all at the exact same time. I mean, it feels like decades, but whatever. 495 days is what they said on there. But anyways, here's the funny part, though, is that we're going back to having a live crowd on SmackDown. It's supposed to be a big deal, right? But they only announced 2 matches, guys. We only know 2 things that are happening on next week's SmackDown. I was at least hoping for maybe 2 more things to be announced, but only 2 things were announced. And those 2 things were Carmella versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And they also announced a fatal 4-way match between Big E, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Shinsuke Nakamura. So that is happening next week. Alrighty, guys, here we go. Let's talk about the closing segment of the night. So earlier we touched on, the Usos and Roman Reigns being one big, potentially happy family, at least a happy family for right now. But anyway, so Edge is Edge. He was calling out Roman Reigns. He goes out there and he basically, he shows images of putting the steel bar in both Roman Reigns' mouth and also in Jimmy's mouth. So he puts those images up on the screen and he's, having a grand old time with that. Backstage, we see Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, and the Usos, and they're looking pretty irritated at Edge. And Edge decides to call out Roman Reigns. Roman tells the Usos, don't go out there. I'm just going to go by myself. He comes out. The second he's out there and he confronts Edge, the second he's out, a couple of seconds later, we see the Usos come out. And kind of Roman Reigns is looking like a little like, I told you guys not to come out, but they came out. All right. So then Roman and Edge end up going at it. They start exchanging a couple of blows back and forth, all right? Then we start to see the Usos get into the ring. But then the people that I forgot existed, and I hate to say this because I'm a big fan of Rey Mysterio, but I completely forgot about Rey Mysterio and Dominic. Don't ask me why. I completely forgot about them. They came out and with the chairs, because they saw that they were about to head into the ring to help out Roman Reigns. They came with chairs and attacked the Usos. And then we see Rey Mysterio, we see Dominic hit a 619, and we see Edge do a spear on Jey Uso. Jey Uso is essentially left alone in the ring. Roman Reigns jams. And then afterwards, we see him do the same thing that he did to Jimmy and that he did to Roman Reigns. He takes the bar off the chair and he chokes Jey Uso with it. And he's essentially, this kind of goes on for a while because he's taunting Roman Reigns. He's seeing what he's doing to his cousin. And Roman Reigns is just like, looking, and he's not going to go out there and help him out whatsoever, even though that's his right-hand man. And he's not going to go out there and help him. And so that is essentially how SmackDown ends. So now all 3 of them have essentially had a piece of a chair in their mouth. And also, Roman Reigns should not be trusted. That is the moral of the story. All right, guys, what did you think of the finale of SmackDown? Let's see what else we got here. Mike in New York brings up the fact that that Rey and Edge used to team. Exactly. Guys, it's late. I'm done. It's Friday. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. The team of rage. Let's see what else we got here. We have a comment from a Bonkers IFC who believes that the ending of SmackDown was pretty cool. TP says that he completely forgot Rey and Dominic were the tag team champions. TP, I cover this show each and every single week. All right. You guys know that. I come out here and I talk about it for an hour. Sometimes over an hour. I forgot that they were a tag team. I completely forgot. I just forgot. I forgot about them, period, on the show. And then when they came out, I was like, are they still tag team champions? And I was like, yeah, they're the tag team champions. And then I was like, no, they're not the tag team champions. Yes, they are. I was arguing with myself about it. I argued with myself about it. And then I was like, dang, how the hell did I forget that they were tag team champions? Which is sad because now that should tell you how insignificant their run as tag team champions feel right now on the show. So make that for what you will, okay? But that doesn't say a lot of good about Rey and Dom. here today. And let's see what else we got here. We got a comment from Pelmy Wrestling who says that he's guessing they're going to do Mysterios versus the Usos at Money in the Bank. Totally cool with that. The Usos have fantastic matches. They're one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So I definitely think that that is a good direction to be heading in. All right, and let's see. This is a comment from Patrick who says, the last segment was so off, you could tell that they were trying to fill time and they went off the air so early. They did go off the air early, and I think it was maybe, oh God, was it? I think it was like 7:57, I think 3 minutes till or so. It was early when they left, and my stream is always behind because I watch on the Fox Sports app, which is horrible, by the way. If you watch on the Fox Sports app, I feel your pain, okay? Because I also use the Fox Sports app, and it's not great. I had to restart the app like 6 times today just so that I could watch the show in sync, because the video was coming in faster than the audio, and that doesn't seem like such an issue. But when you're watching wrestling and they're doing the moves and you don't hear anything, and then 2 seconds later you hear the bump on the mat, it's really terrible to watch wrestling out of sync, okay? So that's definitely not fun whatsoever. So I thought maybe even, usually I end a little late, and this time I looked at the clock and I still had some time left, and I was like, oh shoot, all right. All right, we got another super chat. This one's from Brandon Charles Powell, who says, despite the situation with Jimmy, it would be cool to see the Usos and Roman all have gold and be on the same page, but we'll see. I think they should do it. They should do it. Give the gold to the Usos. Give the gold to the Usos, because just the fact that me telling you right now that me and at least one other person forgot that Rey Mysterio and Dominic were even tag team champions, and I watch the show every week, should tell you that's it. We're done with them as champions. Let's move on. Give it to the Usos. It works. I'm cool with it, especially right now with what they're doing with Roman Reigns. They could literally be on the very top of things. So I would definitely like to see the Usos as champions right now. And Samoan Joseph says, you forgot that they were tag team champions because they haven't mattered in a while. The SmackDown tag team champs, period. Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but kind of true. Kind of true. And let's see. I think I got pretty much everything here. I'm going to kind of scroll, make sure I didn't miss anything major here. But guys, alrighty, that was SmackDown. That was our SmackDown show. A pretty interesting show, I would say, because again, we have new faces in the women's division on SmackDown. We had a couple of surprises, etc. And then next week, the next SmackDown that you watch, it will not have a Thunderdome. It will have real people, real actual human beings. It will be great. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Speak Now Pro Wrestling, as always. Also, I will be back on Tuesday for NXT. Please do not miss my NXT show. My NXT show is pretty fun. And then I will be back for AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. And then again, I will be back for SmackDown. So lots to come, everybody. Do not forget to follow me on Twitter and or on Instagram @ Denise Salcedo. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. And I hope you guys have an incredible weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody. Have an awesome weekend. Bye.